How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. And in this specific video, we're going to be talking about poncho liners, or if you've heard the terminology, a whoopee. And I've used these for many years, probably almost coming up on a decade, and I really love the whoopee, actually, its design and whatnot. But there's things you can do as in modifications to make it a lot better. And I'm going to show you my modifications kind of over the years of what I've slowly added until I've came up with kind of the original, or not the original, but the best plan design so far. So, if we're going to get into the original, which this is my original whoopee, back almost a decade ago I was issued. So there's been nothing really altered about this at all. It is just a large poncho that has the tie-outs on it, meant to go in the grommets of the specific poncho. Now, one thing that I've always not really liked about it, but how you put it on underneath, is you'll tie it out and then you just kind of do this. It works, don't get me wrong, but there's just a better way to do it, and I've always been kind of confused on why they originally went with this. It just was easy to manufacture. It was just how it was. So, the material specifically is some kind of nylon, specifically on both sides, with a thin layer, like a membrane layer, to kind of keep heat in. And surprisingly, something like this is actually very warm and can dry out very quickly. That's what they wanted when they originally designed it. I know the original ones were like the old parachute material from like World War II and all that kind of stuff, which I've heard those ones are like really good. They're super heavy, but over the years they've lightened them up. And these pack down, like you can pack them up so small footprint and whatnot. I mean, a large blanket can compress very small. So that was the original. Moving on to the first upgrade that I specifically did on a few of my whoopies, and I just have one here. And it's still the same footprint and everything like that, but I specifically add an L zipper to it. So when you fold it in half, I did a zipper down the back, or down the top, and then the side as well. So it's a little bit hard to do one-handed, but it zips up into a sleeping bag pretty much. So here's a closed off end, and then you only do an L, so you leave the top, this portion up here open, and you can get into it and climb into it like a sleeping bag. Keeps the heat in, works really well. I use this on 2 deployments and it was outstanding. And then if you start getting into more of a cold weather environment, I started to gravitate to another design. So this is technically a jungle blanket by Snug Pack, so it's pretty much an upgraded whoopee. They made the material super lightweight, but they made it have more loft in it. So it also does have the specific zipper in it, which I modified myself. I had it done for me because I wanted it that way. But the one issue with all the whoopies is there's no real good way to put them on. So halfway through, I had them cut the whoopee, small portion, for my head to go in. And then you open it up. So this allows you to zip this portion up when you're sleeping in it like a sleeping bag, so all your heat doesn't escape out this little hole. But when you need to, you can throw it on over top of you like this, and so the zipper doesn't tear up your neck. You can roll it. And now you put your poncho on top of it as well, so you have that rain barrier. And this is a warming layer. Now this is outstanding. This is pretty much what I've been using and like for a little bit, and it works great, especially wintertime environment or something like that, heavily snowing. One thing that I would recommend, if you're gonna run a poncho, you're pretty much guaranteed to get your feet wet or your legs. They're just gonna be soaking wet. So what I would recommend is putting rain pants on, and then having kind of, not booties, but have them over top of your shoes to let the rain not soak up into your shoes. That's normally the downside of a poncho, is your lower half is just always soaked. But this allows you to modify pretty much a sleeping bag, a blanket, and a warming layer all into one piece of kit to bring down your weight, but bring up your capabilities. So this is what I've been currently using, and it's fairly easy. I mean, you would just take it to a seamstress, a local one, and just say, hey, I want these upgrades done to this blanket. It probably costs you maybe 35, 40 bucks, maybe even less or more depending on where you go. But it's a nice upgrade, and if you like running the poncho or the poncho liner, I would highly recommend these two upgrades. Now there's other stuff out there on the market. I didn't go over all of them. These are just particular ones that I like and that I use. If you guys enjoy this type of video, just kind of random, I get it. It's like the workbench review or overview of this. I like to be more out and about, but sometimes it just can't happen. But if you guys like this kind of stuff, definitely hit subscribe, hit like. We got a lot more stuff coming up. Definitely going to throw this out in its paces and actually show you what I've used, like how I've used these items, get home bag, bug out bag, you know, all kinds of stuff. So definitely hit that subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.